Hello, the internet! It is Saturday, the 12th of April, 2025, and welcome back to the channel. Before we go too deep here, yes, there is a slight difference to the quality, the camera. There's a little change here we've just made. I have broken my GH5. I have messed up the HDMI port. And so for the time being, I cannot use this camera until it gets repaired. So instead, I'm using my iPhone as an NDI source, and I color corrected it and gave it a little sharpening, and it seems to be looking relatively okay. Here's the port on the GH5. I don't know if you can see on that angle. It's warped. It's my own mistake. I've messed it up. So that's got to be repaired. The HDMI port just doesn't work. But that's not what we're here to talk about. First of all, Fast Abdul, how you doing, man? I'm here for the tech. Well, this is a tech stream, so you're going to get your rocks off. This is, unfortunately, I've got to do this stream. It's a shame. We're here to talk about the Kiloview P3 Mini and why it may not be the streaming encoder for you. That sounds like a pitch, right? It might not be the one for you. It's not the one for me either. Here's what happened. So this device, the P3 Mini from Kiloview, it's a streaming encoder. Now, just to break it all down nice and easy for anyone that doesn't know, basically this is a laptop, if you like. It's where your stream gets generated if you're in the field. Let's say you're doing an IRL stream and you don't have a computer with you, so you need to transcode all of your camera ingest and your microphone and then send it out, much like OBS would do on a laptop at home, like it is doing right now. Well, out in the field, you need something like this. You need a device that is going to encode your stream and send your stream to an ingest server. And there's many of them on the market. I've been using the Kiloview Solo flawlessly for years. It's great. I've also been using, when I was living in New Zealand, I used the Teradek Mini, no, the Teradek Video Go and the Teradek Wave. Those two items were working flawlessly in, I was going to say America, in New Zealand. This device came onto the market a little whiles ago and we got very excited for it. And Kiloview did send me a review unit to put through the paces, and I did. And unfortunately, it has failed quite miserably, but there is a caveat. There is a unfortunate reason it failed, and the reason is because of the internet I was using. Now, I stream when I'm out in the field. Lately, or from the last little while, I've been adding a Starlink dish to my IRL concepts. This device sits on the roof of GoVan, and we basically did 43 days of streaming in the Australian outback and used 2 terabytes of data. I got my Starlink usage 2 terabytes. This device is great and it worked flawlessly alongside one other 4G service. So that's how these devices typically work. They bond multiple internet sources together to create a solid internet source for when you're in a remote location. Me personally, I was waiting for Starlink. I was frothing when Elon announced Starlink on your vehicle. I was like, are you kidding me? This is going to be awesome. So we did this Uluru stream with the Kiloview Solo. No problems at all. No problems. I mean, yes, there was some glitches. Of course, Starlink, you know, when it changes across the satellites, sometimes it doesn't maintain a solid connection. If you're under tree cover, it doesn't like that. But if you get a clear line of sight to the sky and you've got a 4G connection, you can bond those two together. We were streaming for 10, 12 hours, no dramas. So I was personally very excited for this device because I wanted to do the same thing with it. This is a nifty little device. It's got some updates that no other device has. A simple thing this thing does that my Kiloview Solo does not do, it provides an internet hotspot. We're putting all this internet into the thing, and why not create its own little hotspot so you can check your chat? My other one doesn't do that. The Teradek Video Go didn't do that. The Teradek Wave didn't do that. The Kiloview Solo doesn't do that. Well, the one I have doesn't. This device does. But the problem with this device, it doesn't work with Starlink. Now, that is a big from Kiloview. Massive oof, as the kids would say. Why? Because everyone who's anyone that does IRL streams is using Starlink. They're all using them right now. I've got this. This is the Mini. I mount this on my backpack, and it sits up on my backpack, and you can walk around maintaining connectivity to the skies. This device almost gets rid of the need for 4G. Almost. Unfortunately, and I've got an email here. I won't put it on screen because it will reveal personal emails from Kiloview, and I don't know if they want them out there. But I was dealing with Barry, a tech guy, technical support engineer, and he says, I checked the log of your P3 Mini, and the log shows the instantaneous change of network delay has caused the device to be unable to encode and push the stream normally. Now, what he's referring to is what you guys all saw on stream. It's the way that the P3 handles internet drop. So when you're streaming and your 4G goes out of range, or your Starlink swaps out from one satellite to the next, the internet drops. Now, what happens usually, I've never seen this before, by the way, on the P3 Mini, the way it handles it is it doesn't change the bit rate, but it changes what gets fed down the tube. That's not a very technical way to describe it, but what you're seeing, it changes the frame rate is probably what I'm trying to say. And so instead of seeing a clean 60 frame 1080p stream, you're seeing a 1080p stream that is maybe 14 frames or 10 frames a second or 8 seconds. But it's weird because it's not jittery. It's not a jump in frames. It's a slowing down. It's a ramping down of the frame rate. And then the problem that this device has, when it regains connectivity, it doesn't ramp back up. And so, well, I phrased that wrong. It ramps back up, but it doesn't sync it back up. So in many times and I'm going to show you the test streams we did, in many times while we were streaming, I would be talking and you'd be hearing it in real time, but the visual you're seeing happened way back when.
Money's too tight for steak.
Steak?
Cut of meat, cut of meat, cut of meat, cut of meat, tumbler glass, tumbler glass, tumbler glass, cut of meat for old time's sake.
Charlotte Rose with a $15 super chat, cut of meat for the old time's sake, cut of meat, cut of meat. Thank you, Charlotte. I'm hoping you heard that. Hey, my chat's not updating. Yeah, no, there it is, super chat on top. Thank you, Charlotte. You heard that, right? There's been a few changes on my setup, and I'm just hoping you heard it. You heard it. Awesome. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Very kind of you. Hello, by the way. Stacks, cut of meat. That totally threw me off, but I love a cut of meat. The money's too tight for steak. It was nice to hear Marge's voice so close to my ears. It's up loud for me. Thank you, Charlotte. I hope your 28th, it's not long till the 28th. We're all watching and waiting. But not the hello on DLive. Oh, so yeah, those alerts. This is a YouTube stream. You won't be able to trigger those hellos as yes. Okay, so what we saw was that. So back to this, the P3. So when it disconnected or when it lost connection, it never synced back up, and so I'd be talking and you guys would still be watching something that happened like ages ago, and it's something like I've never ever seen that on a live stream ever. I've seen sketchy bitrate and I've seen sketchy like frame rates and I've seen all kinds of sketch, but I've never seen a stream that's that far out of sync. It was really strange, and it really shit me, if I'm being honest. It shit me because I stupidly left my LiveView Solo at home and went on this, because I went on a road trip. The plan was to do 4 or 5 days worth of streaming like we did in Uluru. And I only brought this device. And immediately on day one of the trip, which we're going to see shortly, it started failing, right? And it started doing this weird out of sync thing. So I pulled up into a spot with perfect view of the sky, right? I pulled up at this place called Sassafras. I love that name, Sassafras. A place called Sassafras, which is because my road trip was heading towards Canberra from the coast here. So that's not far in. It's like half an hour, 40 minutes in. Pulled up to Sassafras, got a good view of the sky, sat there with a 4G connection too and Starlink. And I tested it and I put it through its paces and I was emailing and I was changing buffer sizes and I was talking to tech. Nothing we did fixed it. Nothing. And that's when I realized that, you idiot, why did you not bring the LiveView Solo as a backup? Because it meant that I couldn't go on and do the streams. I ended up going on and doing my own road trip and having a great time, but I never got to share it. So the Kiloview P3 Mini failed me, and therefore it fucked up my audience as well, because we were planning on doing this for 4 days. Anyway, so in the email correspondence, this is what they said. This is what Barry, the technical support engineer, said. He said, I checked the log of your P3 Mini. The log shows that the instantaneous change of network delay caused the device to be unable to encode and push the stream normally. So what he's saying is that when you lose network connectivity, the stream can't push it out. So it does this weird slowing down thing. The high memory use, because this thing was on fire. It was heating up and the fan was kicking off like a drone. I thought it was going to take off. It was like a drone, right? And he said the high memory usage is because of a large amount of video is buffered and not sent out. Now that was after he told me to change the buffer size to a larger number. So I did. It didn't like it. He said, I suggest you use a 4G card for encoding and pushing the stream. Now I was using one 4G. By the way, this is a little bit inaccurate. These antennas, this one here is a Wi-Fi antenna. So if you're not sending out a Wi-Fi signal, you don't need that plugged in. The other three here are literally for each SIM card. One SIM card there, one SIM card there, one SIM card there. So in my use case, which you'll see shortly when I show you the video, I was rocking with it like this. I had one SIM card in here, and therefore you only need one antenna. And better than that antenna, I've got my MIMO antennas on GoVan. So I undid this and screwed in my own antenna that gets an even stronger signal. So I had good 4G and I had Starlink. He said, since Starlink cannot be used in our country, I believe they're in Singapore. No, China. They're in China. Oh shit. Okay. Starlink. Elon's not allowed in China. Since Starlink cannot be used in our country, we have not tested and optimized Starlink yet. Starlink is not a network method we recommend. So this is a big fat no-no if you're going to use this. And that, my friends, is a big fat fail from Kiloview, because this is where it's at right now. This is the tech. This is making IRL possible anywhere on the planet, right? If you can't use this with this, then I tell you what's going. This is going. This stays. This goes. This goes with that. It's Suzanne's. And look, when I got that email, I was like, holy shit, really? That's the answer here? The answer is don't use Starlink? Wow. I wonder how many people bought either. And by the way, that's not just for the P3 Mini. That's the encoder line from Kiloview across the board, right? They're all only meant to be used with 4G or a 5G card, like SIM card. That seems like that's a real big problem. It's a showstopper for me. Yeah, so let's take a look at what it actually did, how it looked on my stream. So if we go over here, so I've got 3 tabs up here. These are all the streams. This is a good example of how it does work when you're sitting still without movement, right? So here we go. This is the start of my stream. Well, hello. All right, take 2. This is take 7, actually. There's been a few different takes. Hello though, hope everything's working accordingly now. Let's get these windows down, it's way too hot up here. So here's the crack. We are streaming for the first time using the Kiloview P3 Mini. I don't know if you can get a frame of it here, a little shot of it. It's on my big pec. I've permanently mounted it to my big pec. It's a tidy little unit. And we are going to put it through its runs. Put it through its runs? That's the wrong phrase. We're going to put it through its... We're going to test it. We're testing it on a road trip. We're testing it using the Starlink Mini and a 4G connection with Optus. Before we go too much further, I'm going to verify that this is working live. So just to pause there for a moment, if I'm being finicky and a bit fussy, I will say this: that doesn't look like 8 megabits. So 8 megabytes, sorry, not bits. This device gives you the option to set the output bit rate. You can go from, I think, 4 all the way through to 20 megabytes. I set it to 8, thinking that's... So on the LiveView Solo, I normally stream at 6. Here at home, I'm streaming at 10. But out there on the field, I figured 8 would be that is a suitable bit rate. But it doesn't look like that. Like, that looks a little bit lame. It looks a little less than what it's saying it is what I'm saying. That's just my take. I could be wrong. Yeah, first time I've used the Starlink Mini, and the first time I've used the P3 Mini. So I'm going to go to my channel here on both. And also, that audio is a little... That audio doesn't sound normal. It sounds... That audio sounds like a very, very low bitrate audio to me. That's what I'm hearing, and I've IRL streamed in the field many times, and I'm always looking and listening for that, and I'm always watching for it. And when I didn't see it here at the time, but when I got home and when the stream had... These are fully rendered streams encoded on the YouTube backend. When I waited for that and watched it, I was like, oh wow, is that the full... I kept hitting the little toggle down here thinking it can't be the correct quality, right? It is, but it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't look right. Beam machine. Refresh my trousers. You can get a better bit rate just by pointing your phone and using the DLive app, right? Go live from your phone. It'll look better than that. I'm just saying, right? It'll look better than what a dedicated encoder, in this instance, the P3 Mini from Kiloview, will look. Oh, by the way, this is an interesting stream. We are okay, it looks all good there. We are using so we're not live. Hang on, what am I trying to say? Anyway, so I waffle on and on and on about that, but then what happens is as we drive out, I mean, we'll skip forward to the drive out. It works. It's working, right? Watch this. Tank of fuel, we got a full tank of water, drinking water, we got all the groceries we need for a few days. Yo, Dudsky, how you doing, man? Melbourne Doug. Road tripping like the old days. It's the old days. It's only been... When was Uluru? I feel like that wasn't that long ago. The audio sounds to me, you know, like in a rehearsal room when someone talks and the drum snare, the springs on the bottom of a snare rattle against the bottom of the snare. My birthday, August, and we came back October. August, so half of August, or the end of August, all of October. That is not 8 megabytes. And about half of October. That is not 8. That is a really, really lousy image. And yeah, that's a shame. So this is now March. So it needs to be said here, as I turn right, daytime weather is like really pleasant. As I turn, can we slow that down? As I turn right here, we're driving out of town, but we're literally driving past the 4G tower. You'll be able to see it in frame, I guess, coming up. If you keep your eyes to the where my mouse is, kind of over here. You should be able to see a 4G tower shortly. I think that's it right there in the distance. And so we've got 4G. You'll be able to see it, I guess, coming up here, coming over the hillside or over the treetops. Look at that chromatic aberration as well. So this, if you're ever going to get the clean, okay, just to cut in, if what they're saying about 4G is a thing, right here we should be getting the absolute primo quality 4G. The stream should be prioritizing, or the Kiloview Server Pro should be prioritizing the 4G and using the Starlink as an addition if it needs it, because right now we're so close to that tower. But it still looks crap, right? It doesn't look like 8 megabytes at all. And I'd never seen those photos. And he posted them on Facebook and I was blown away. So the tower is literally right there. That's the 4G tower right there. So you can't get any closer to the signal, right? Now you might say, but hold on a second, dude. There's also this thing that if you're too close, it's too bad, right? Fair enough. But at the time of getting that close and being around, like what I'm saying is, in that area, there is no problem with the 4G. Like that's my point. I'm not saying that it gets better as you get closer. Technically it does, but not right up to the bottom of it. Just calm down. And look, there's a drop right there, right? Pretty impressive just to see. There was a drop there. No notable audio sketch out. Now, if we pause that and go forward, I took the stream forward here to the 1 hour and 11 minutes mark. Now, this is an example or an illustration of that, how the Kiloview P3 Mini handles when you lose connectivity. Now, right now, where we're at on the open road, let's go full screen. Right there. Oh, go back a bit. Where we're at, we have direct line of sight to the sky. So Starlink is on fire. 4G, not great where we are. We've gone out of range of, and I know this because I've been in these areas and live streamed or tried to live stream with just 4G. So I know exactly where the towers are. I've got the Towers Near Me app, or the Oz Towers app, which is rebranded recently or a little while ago. So I know the area. There's no 4G there, or very, very scattered 4G, but we should be using Starlink. And I know, and you guys know from the Uluru road trip, the Starlink works flawlessly for this. Not 100% all the time, but when it is working, it's great. There obviously is this changing of the satellites. I know that that's a thing, but what I'm saying, at some point along this part of the road, we should have had a solid connection and maybe a temporary drop and then join back on. But instead, we get this staggering effect where everything starts getting out of sync. This is what the Kiloview P3 Mini, this is how it handles the low connectivity now that we know that it doesn't work so well with Starlink. So check this out. See how it's ramping it down? It's really odd. Yeah, it's really odd. I've never seen anything quite like this because it still sounds good, right? Yeah, it's a real strange effect. Now, as you can imagine, what would happen if this went on for a long, long while, if the audio is, because the audio is such a smaller file or a smaller transmission signal, let's say if you break it down audio and video, the audio stays up to speed and the video gets super laggy. So if you do that for long enough, you end up becoming miles and miles apart from the audio and the video, which is exactly what happened. And my viewers were like, the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're talking about, I was making a sandwich and they were like, the car's still running and how are you making a sandwich, man? Like, it's just stupid, right? And I'm laughing at it now, but it was really frustrating at the time because I've never seen anything like that on a live stream. I've never seen a live stream do that. And it's because of this. It's the way that it handles it. Also, this display unit is pretty sick. I can show it to you without even a signal coming in. I'll just power it up. I'll just give me a second to tell you this, because this is pretty cool. When it powers up, assuming I had a HDMI source inputted in here, which I could do if my GH5 wasn't broken. Thank you for that. That's my own fault. I did that. I'm not blaming anybody. That was my own carelessness. I left an HDMI cable in and I had it in the back of the vehicle and it was rolling around and getting wobbled and bent. I completely messed that up myself. But what I was going to show you is, and this might be a thing that someone, so all streaming encoders are like this. They have a display on the front that shows you what you're inputting. Now, I've always thought it would be better to see what you're outputting than what you're inputting, because see this blue here? That's blue because there's no HDMI input. But if you tap it, it goes full screen. And so you can that there would be my camera. So you can glance down at it, which this is rad, right? You can glance down while you're driving and go, oh yeah, the camera's still inputting. But instead of seeing that, it would be sick if you could press again or default to, this is what the stream is seeing. Because if I looked over and saw that on screen, then I would know that, oh, that's not like, and not right there, but later on in the stream when we were really separated with audio and video being miles apart from each other, if I looked down and saw that that was what the stream was seeing, I'd instantly know that something was wrong. But when you look down and see just what's being fed into the device, you assume, okay, it's still getting a feed, everything's good. And you obviously see bitrate on there as well, so you can verify that the stream is still good. So that's just a small thing, but it's not specific to the Kiloview. It's just how live encoders do their thing, and the LiveView Solar does the same. But let's just break it forward here to when we are well and truly out of sync. I've pulled up here at this point. Let's play it from here, I guess. This is me pulled up. Let me just go back a bit. So now this is weird, right? You're seeing the footage of me driving, yet the vehicle is making no noise because I'm already way ahead of. I've got a time machine. I've gone forward in time. The stream, it's so strange. The stream is hearing me in real time, but they're seeing it like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. That's why there's no engine noise right there. And look how fast it is too. It's sped up, like the frame rate's almost doubled. And I'm not saying anything right now on stream, but I'm probably making my sandwich or something. I pulled up here. Look at it going sketchy, like. It's just a it's a real shame. It's a real shame. And it's a shame because we have already gone past all this. In my live streaming, certainly in my IRL live streaming, I've gone past this. I know, like I've tech engineered, or I've gone down many tech avenues to get to where what I believe a solid IRL streaming setup is. And it's a shame that this, I should have done this privately and not.
So what we got going on there.
That's funny. Look how out of sync.
5 minutes behind. That is how the P3 Mini.
That's the exact thing that I'm saying right on the stream right there, right now. The stream is 5 minutes behind. I've got no way of knowing that's happening because I'm up to speed.
I would rather the stream stay up.
I guess I'm explaining it right there.
Audio and visual at the same time, but the bitrate lowers and we get either pixelation or mosaic or whatever.
That's me right there being flustered by it and trying to explain it as best as I could, but I didn't know what I was seeing. So here's another thing. We restarted this stream. I restarted it in this area. And I just want to show this because I think this is important. Right now, while this is happening, this is a fresh stream, right? So I reset everything. I turned off the Starlink. I turned off the 4G. I turned off the P3 Mini. I redid everything and I started afresh. And in my mind, I thought, okay, everything's going to be perfect here. We're not moving, so we've got 4G, we've got Starlink, we've turned everything off, so there's the buffer has been reset here. There's nothing in the buffer, and it almost immediately from the beginning, this device out of synced itself. So it almost immediately went into this position where it doesn't think it's got a bit rate, probably because it's taking, like, Starlink is the most solid, but it's not accepting it. I don't know. I don't know the technicalities behind that. I thought internet was internet, but apparently internet's not internet, depending on the device you use it with. Check this out, though. So I've just started it again. Fresh stream. Again, the bitrate looks horrible.
Oh, great. It's live streaming.
See, look at that. Look at that.
Shut it down and turn it back on, and it automatically defaults to a stream. That's awesome.
And by the way, that's another thing I forgot to mention. There is a feature, not a bug, a feature on this device that it seems crazy. This is actually crazy. This device, when you turn it on, if you power it up and it's got an HDMI input, it starts streaming, which is really odd. Like, I don't want to start the stream until I'm ready, right? But this device, that just happened to me right there. You turn it on and you're feeding it an HDMI signal and it's got connectivity, it'll just start a stream. And I was like, shit, I didn't even know where the stream was going at that point. So that's another fail, by the way. I think that you need control over the stream. You should not, a device. Now look, let me rephrase. That's a good feature if you select it to happen, but not by default. That should not be the default. That should be, hey, did you know that you can auto start a stream? This is how you do it. And then people are ready for it. But if it just happens because that's the way it is, that's terrible. Like that's a horrible user experience. Horrible.
This is really annoying.
What if I was naked? Right? I'm not kidding. What if you would, I don't know, what if you were doing something that you definitely can't stream and you just turned your device on and it was live? Like that can get you in a lot of trouble, right? I'm just saying. Oh, is my you know what? I know what's going on. That happened to me last night. Hold on a second. I've got to just read. How do I do this? The the NDI doesn't last forever. Well, the NDI lasts forever, but it just stays on a frame. Let me just can I just reset it? Hold on a second. I wonder if I can just kick it into gear here. I don't know how to do that. Properties. I'll just choose a different source. No, it's closed. Hang on, I gotta reload it. Hold on a sec. I can't see it either because it's pointing away from me. It was completely closed. That's okay. This NDI might not be the best, might not be the most suitable for long form live streams, because you got to keep making sure that it's active. That's funny. I was mid rant too. I can't remember what I was ranting and raving about, but anyway, my chat's very quiet today, so no one told me anything. Thanks very much. So yeah, anyway, so well, we'll just continue on for a bit.
And I'm going to assume it's live.
Out of sync. Horrible out of sync. Yeah. Just a terrible, yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on exactly? I guess I'm showing you all this to illustrate my frustration.
I'm assuming this is live, right? View on YouTube.
So anyway, this stream, I only did this stream for like 16 minutes, but we basically just talked about
trying to get it to work to get back to where we were. By the way, it's cold here. To get us back to where we were on any other stream. I've already done that. I already know.
So what I'm doing there, I'm just explaining what I just explained to you guys. Like, I feel like it's a shame that I did this live on an important stream, because as I said, we've already gone past this kind of tech. We've gone past this being a thing. Like we are aware, or I'm aware of how this IRL tech gear should work. And unfortunately for you guys, I put you all through that. I shouldn't have. I should have done. And by the way, I did also do plenty of unlisted streams, and dumb that I am, we encountered those issues along the way, and I should have thought about it and taken the backup Live-View Solo. I shouldn't have relied on new tech to work as it's meant to, because if it doesn't, it's my own fault, is what I'm saying. So my message here to anybody thinking about purchasing this device, if you're going to be using it with a Starlink, my advice is don't purchase it. Hold off until Kiloview have made it, tweak the hardware or the firmware or whatever it needs to be done to work together. Because this device, look, I sat here and I streamed with a fiber, with an Ethernet fiber input and a 4G, and got great results. If this device could work together with Starlink, then this device would be really, really useful. That needs to be fixed. The bitrate looking less than what it's saying it is needs to be fixed. The audio bitrate needs to be fixed. This is a device that seems like it's half-baked. It's not fully done yet. And you might say, well, isn't that the reason that you've got it, to test it? Sure, that's the reason that I've got it, to test it. I don't work for Kiloview. They're not paying me. I did this out of my own goodwill. But like I said, had I have been smarter, I would have taken a backup and not relied on this. So consider that a conclusive testing and a wrap up of the Kiloview P3 Mini. Right now, what is it, the 12th of April, 2025? My advice would be not to use this until there is some kind of update that fixes the Starlink, the bitrate, and the audio bitrate. That's my take on it. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you're watching the replay, you can drop a comment. I'll answer questions if you have them. If you have any suggestions, also hit me there. But for my live streaming, until I get my GH5 fixed with the HDMI port, I'm going to be using the NDI, this camera, my iPhone, and I'm also going to be using my Live-View Solo for IRL streams. That's how it's going to roll. So cheerses, earses. I guess I'll see you all on the next upload, next live stream. Tell me next time my NDI stops working too, please. Cheers. Thanks for the super chat, Charla.